Hi everyone, it's Jill and welcome to this tutorial on how to make these little gobble pops. And I am desperate to share with you how I did it. They're funny little looking things, but really super simple. So check out below the recipe and so get yourself all set up before we get started. Get everything together and let's get cooking. The first thing you're gonna need is absolutely use a box cake. I know, everybody wants to like create a chocolate fudge brownie that's gonna be delicious, but trust me, these are cake pops. That's your first step. I want you to make your box cake and come straight back once you've allowed it enough time to cool. First of all, once your cakes have cooled, I want you to cut each circle or your cake pan mix into smaller, more easy to handle chunks. So I've cut mine into 4s. I did 2 circles. What we're going to do now is you're literally going to take the cake, and you're going to crumble it into a huge bowl. If you find that there are any really hard pieces, I want you to keep hold of those and just put them to one side. Don't get rid of them, because what we're going to do is we're going to take those harder pieces, the chunks, and we're going to put them in the NutriBullet. Nothing gets wasted. So you're literally just going to crumb. You can even use a fork and just crumb up your cake pieces. Okay, so right now I have just crumbed half of one of the baking pans. So I have a lot of mixture. So as you can see, you could, like I did, you can just do half of the mixture, and the other half you can wrap in saran wrap or cling film, then wrap it in foil so you don't get freezer burn, and chuck it in the freezer. You can freeze it, so maybe there's a party in 2 weeks time that you're going to go to that you need more cake pops but you really don't want to make another cake. I normally make about a dozen because that's normally enough, unless you're going somewhere that's a huge party and you've really been asked to take a massive load of cake pops, then obviously you're just going to make more. But for right now, if you're just making a little selection, let's just do half, put the rest in the freezer. I'm going to put this stuff in the NutriBullet and I'm going to put it in with my crumb. Hit pause, make sure you do that, and I'll be right back. Welcome back. Okay, the next stage, now that you have everything crumbed in your bowl, I want you to have a dig around and look for any lumps. You do not want any lumps going into your cake balls, because all it's going to do is make the cake balling really difficult, because you want a nice smooth ball. So have a quick look round, and it shouldn't be nice and smooth. If you find any lumps, just eat them. No one's watching. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to prepare a buttercream. You can go to the supermarket and buy a tub of buttercream. It works really well, but I'm just going to get a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. I'm going to mix it with some powdered sugar, and I'm going to then start adding that to my crumb. So I'm going to do that now. Hit pause, grab your buttercream, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. How to make buttercream? It's super simple. You want unsalted butter, good quality, obviously, and then you're going to start adding powdered sugar. Now, for this particular recipe, because we are just adding it as a glue to the cookie balls, to the cake pops, it doesn't have to go in the blender. If you want to put it in the blender, you can, but you really don't have to. All I do is I soften the butter very gently so it's room temperature. I can even whiz it in the microwave, to be honest. And then all I'm going to do is start mixing the butter and icing sugar to make some buttercream. Couldn't be more simple. So hit pause, make your buttercream, and then come straight back. Alrighty. All right, we're back in business. So here is my biggest tip for you guys. Now we've got our crumb and we have our buttercream. And what I want you to do is I want you to slowly add some buttercream to the crumb. But I want you to do this in small parts. If you dump in a load of buttercream into the crumb, you do run the risk of having crumb that's too moist, and you don't want soggy cake pops. So what I do is I take some crumb, I pour it into a separate bowl, just a small amount, like so. And then I'm going to take my buttercream and I'm going to evenly distribute it across the crumb. Don't go nuts. If you feel like you've added too much buttercream, you can always add some more crumb. It's super simple like that. Then you're going to get a spoon and start smashing. You're going to take your buttercream on your crumb, and you're going to start smashing it into the crumb. Now you can add buttercream as you go along, but I want you to just keep an eye on the texture of your crumb. It's a really quick process. This whole thing, once you get used to it, is actually pretty easy. You'll see that it looks a little bit dry, and then all of a sudden it starts to clump together, and that's when you want to start monitoring everything. You don't want it too soggy, you don't want it too wet. I'm going to add a tiny bit more buttercream, just a little bit. And then using the back of my spoon, I'm going to smash it into the crumb. And by now, it should kind of be like getting like smashed together. And then just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Perfect. Then all of a sudden, like magic, you should have something that looks a little bit like that, which is just a giant glorified cake pop. What we're going to do next is super important. Let's abandon this for a second. What I want you to do is I want you to take a baking tray, and I want you to line it with wax paper or parchment paper. Then you're going to take a little measuring scoop, or maybe a tablespoon, because this is a tablespoon, and I want you to scoop out. You really got to eyeball it, unless you have a tiny ice cream scoop, which I highly recommend, where you can kind of mold it across the top. You're going to take about a tablespoon, gently pull him out of there, and then you're going to use firm but kind of gentle, that's such a weird expression. I want you to smash the cake pop down into each other. Now, we use the scoop because that means that all of them are going to be the same size, and we want that. We like a nice consistent size, also makes us look like a profesh. Now, you're going to take him between your hands, and you're going to roll him into a little ball, and it should look something like that. I'm praying to the cake pop gods that yours looks like that. Now, if it doesn't, is it too dry? Chuck it back in the bowl, add a little bit more buttercream. Is it too wet? Chuck it back in the bowl, add a little bit more crumb. Don't panic. I know it's really easy to just freak out, but please don't. This is meant to be fun. Okay, so we have one of our balls ready. We're just going to take him and put him on the parchment paper. Okay, then we move on. Let's do another one. Take your scoop, about a tablespoon, smash him so he's a nice, because the reason why we want him smooth is that when we start doing our dip, it's a really smooth outside. Mine are always a little bit rough because I'm really not a professional at it, but who needs to be a professional at cake pops? So you're going to smash him. If you have any lumps, get rid of them. Dig them out and just start re-rolling. It's completely fine. Rolling, rolling. Push down any lumps that you've got. It should be nice and smooth. If you're aiming for perfection, good luck. Cake pop. Take him, put him on your baking tray. Okay, I'm going to knuckle down with this. Here's my last tip for you. First of all, take your time. Secondly, wash your hands regularly and leave a little bit of water on your hands. It will make them a little bit slippery and give you a really nice gloss. So hit pause, knock out the rest of your crumb. If you need to make more buttercream, it's all good. Take your time. When you come back, depending on how much crumb you've got, depends on how many cake pops you're going to make. I'm going to finish up here and I'll be right back. So we've made our cake balls. They should be nice and smooth, nice and shiny. Have a look at them. Make sure they just look like a ball. If you're making, say, a bird, you could, at the moment, you could start reshaping them. I would probably, you could make them into a square, you could flatten them, you could push something on them, because what we're about to do now is we're about to freeze them. Now, here's my next tip. I want you to hit pause, or I'll actually wait. I want you to go and grab your cling film or saran wrap. And I also want you to grab your aluminium foil. Go grab that now. Come straight back. Got it? You have it? Okay, great. I want you to, I want you to take a piece of the saran wrap, cling film, and I want you to gently lay this over the top of your cake balls. Don't press down on them, don't touch them, don't try and make it look pretty, just lay it on there. Then, are you done? Great. I want you to take a piece of foil and I want you to do exactly the same thing. This time you're going to just gently, just the edges, just give them a little bit of a press down. Doesn't matter how close the cake balls are to each other. Try not to press down on them, obviously. Okay, so what does this do? This stops freezer burn. You don't want to burn the cakes. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these in the freezer, minimum of an hour. You can put these in the refrigerator overnight if you're like, I don't really want to have them in the freezer. I don't want to do anything else with them today, but I do need to decorate them tomorrow. Put them in the refrigerator. If you want to decorate them today, they have got to go into the freezer for a minimum of 1 hour. In an hour, I'm going to take these out and I'm going to start preparing my chocolate in order to dip with. So, with that being said, put the kettle on, make yourself a cup of tea, do a bit of clearing up, and I want you to start getting your decorations ready for the turkey. You're going to need your sticks. Doesn't matter what height, what length, doesn't matter. You're going to need candy corn, or if you're in England and you don't have candy corn, or wherever else you might be, you could get like Smarties or M&Ms, something to create the turkey feathers, or maybe you're just going to do a chicken, or maybe you want to do an owl or a bird. You find something that's either white or brown or black. Maybe you could use Maltesers, maybe you could use Revels, all different shapes. That's that. For the eyes, I've actually bought pre-made eyeballs, which are crunchy. You can get them anywhere. You can also make them out of fondant of white and black. For the little turkey flap on the front, I have some red fondant and a flour cookie cutter, but you can actually cut them. They're just a little bit tricky. For the nose or the beak, I have yellow fondant, and for the little feet underneath, I have some orange fondant. So you've got about an hour to prepare the different colour fondants. You're going to need red, yellow and orange. I will see you in an hour, won't we? Yes, we will. So we've now come to the point where we're going to take our cake pops out of the freezer. I've taken some of our white candy melt and I've put them into a little ball jar. You can put them in a bowl, whatever you want, and I've melted them down. Okay, pay attention. You're going to take off your foil and your saran wrap. Nice and gently, nice and gently, nice and gently. We're going to give these a couple of minutes to kind of defrost. I want you to take one of your treat sticks and I want you to dip it in to the melted candy melt. White I've used. You can use whatever colour you want. All I'm going to do, because it's hot, I'm going to just stick it in to my little cake pop. Then I'm going to take my spatula and I'm just going to smooth out that little bit of excess candy melt at the bottom. Super simple. And then we're just going to move on to the next one. Nice hot candy melt, like an inch. We're going to go straight down almost to the middle of our cake pop, and what we want is to line them up so they sit really pretty. Smooth out that little bit so it looks all tidy. And remember, this is going to dry really fast, so you want to get a move on. Okay, all of our treat sticks are in our candy pops. This is literally just going to go straight into the refrigerator while we get everything else ready and set up. Okay, we've got our candy pop. It's in the stick. We're going to give it a quick go around the chocolate. Now you can use one of these pots or you can use melted chocolate. It's entirely up to you. Remember, it is going to melt really, it is going to dry really fast. So you want to get him in, get him done. And we're going to go candy corn, candy corn, candy corn, candy corn, candy corn, eyeball, eyeball, nose, a little piece of thingamabob. Oh, there's the fireman. I'm going to put another little nose on him so he's a little bit of a brighter nose. Like so. Sweet little thing. Add 2 little feet. 1 and 2. And there we have a little Gobble pop. Is he perfect? By no means, yes. But he's ready to go and he's going to be delicious. So, now that he's set, you're going to stick him in your foam. Little guy fell off. And inside, absolutely delicious. And that's it from us. I hope you enjoyed this little Gobble pop tutorial. My name is Jill. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment down below. Let me know how you get on, and happy baking.